Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Clifden. I'm actually staying in the gorgeous Connemara town of Clifden, and I'm staying in the Key House, which is absolutely stunning. You probably can't get an idea of the view out here, but it is one of my favourite places to stay. Anyway, we're going to get going with a nice little ball workout. I am a bit silhouetted here, so I'm going to take the ball, pop it to the front of my rib cage, feet are hip distance apart, and I'm going to start to roll down really, really slowly. Rolling down, taking that ball just between my chest and my thighs, soft bend into my knees, and letting my head just hang here. Retracting my shoulder blades back, checking that my feet are hip width apart. Yes, those are seagulls you can hear outside. And then just shifting my weight slightly forward, shifting my weight back, shifting our weight forward, shifting back. Now find that place where you can just feel the backs of the legs waking up. And I want you to pause here for a moment and start to lift your chest. Feel like you're rolling that ball slightly forward. Breathing in. And perhaps exhaling, taking your arms just in front, bending your knees a little bit deeper. And then lifting those arms, retracting the shoulder blades back, making sure that the knees are not wandering in towards each other. Exhale three-dimensionally in towards that ball. Inhale. And then exhale, fold over again. Again, shifting the weight slightly forward. Shifting back. Those of you who take classes with me regularly know I really like to do this. I really find it helps me find that place where I really am working into the backs of my legs. I'm going to drop the crown of my head down towards the floor. And this time I'm going to start to draw little circles. Just making sure that I'm not overdoing it, and maybe just making sure there's no little hiking movements. Then I'm going to come back to center, retract my shoulder blades back, drop back down again, lift the arms, retract the shoulder blades back here. Inhale, open the arms into a Y position. Exhale, close them again, really feeding this into the thighs. Inhale, open. Exhale, close, roll back over again. Take hands to the ball, uncurl, and come the whole way back up. And don't worry if you don't have a ball. You can do all of this without the ball as well. I'm taking the ball into my armpit, pretty much. Feet are at that hip width apart, anchoring the feet down. Taking the left arm up, reaching it towards the roof here, this beautiful room, this Napoleon room it's called. Everything in this room has got something to do with Napoleon. And I'm reaching across, allowing that ball to roll down a little bit. So that's really helping me to get into this side stretch here along this left side. And then I'm going to come all the way back up, standing strong through my feet. Take my arm down. Inhale as I reach up again, same side. Exhale, reach across. Reaching across, really feeling that length now through the side body. Standing strong through those feet. A little bit more into the left foot now as I come all the way back. And I'm going to roll the ball over to the other armpit. So it's underneath my left armpit. I'm in my neutral. I'm going to make sure that tailbone's tucked under ever so slightly. Slowly bringing my right arm up towards that roof, towards that ceiling. And then exhaling, standing strong through my feet and allowing that sun to shine onto the back of my legs. Feels absolutely gorgeous. Rolling the ball down a little bit away, so that will ensure that my shoulders move away from my ears. And then I'm going to reach all the way back up and take that ball and relax it. Inhale, lift the arm up. Exhale, it's a slight little tiny squeeze into the ball just as I slide it down. Breathing deeply into this. Feel that lateral breath come all the way back up and take the arms down. We're going to make our way down to our mat now. But before we do that, let's just come into a couple of squats. So I've got my feet, I'm going to do some deeper squats. I've got my feet pretty much the width of my mat. And because my heels are on the mat and my toes are on the floor, it'll help me go a little bit deeper. So I'm going to make sure the knees are pressing out as I just come down in a straight line. And then I'm going to come back up again. Inhale down. Exhale, come back up again. Tuck the tailbone under. Inhale down. Exhale, come back in. So I'm making sure that I retract my shoulders and I keep that tailbone tucked under. So quite a wide stance, quite a low squats this time, more of a low plie squat rather than with the legs close together. There's 7, 8, 9, and on 10 I'm going to hold it out here, lift my heels, little bounces here, little tiny pulses rather than bounces, retracting the shoulder back. 4, 3, 2, 1, drop the heels down and stand up. I think those legs are warmed up. Now it's time to warm up the other parts. Okay, so we're going to make our way down to our mat. I'm going to come down with my right knee first and let my left leg come into that 90-degree angle from knee to ankle. So I'm going to also check tailbones tucked under and that I've got my shoulder directly over my hips, bringing my arms to the front. I'm going to inhale, lift my arms without changing the shape of the lower half of my body. And then I'm going to scoop my belly and reach that ball down to the inside of my knee. So I'm getting into that little C curve. Inhale as I lift. Exhale as I lower. Inhale as I lift. And exhale as I lower. Inhale, lift. Now inhale, lift and pause here. Let the elbows bend and press that breastbone slightly forward. So you're getting that lovely opening through the front of the chest. So I'm not moving into the low back and keeping the tailbone tucked under. Just feel like I'm lifting through the front of my chest, getting that little bit of extension and retracting the shoulder blades back. And then I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling, drop the ribs to the hips and start to draw that circle down. I'm going to inhale, bring the ball in, dropping my elbows and then reaching up, giving that little opening again through the front of the chest. I still got to tuck under with the tailbone, that's good. And then scoop and round over. So we're making those little circles. Being careful not to push the hips forward, thinking about the chest, reaching. Scoop again, one more. Scooping and lifting. And then taking that ball down. Okay. I'm going to change to the other leg now. So I'm going to make sure I'm active through the back foot, pressing the foot into the floor, pressing the leg into the floor, the shin bone, I should say, and check that you've got shoulder, hip, knee in one nice long line, and also knee, ankle, and that straight line to the hip. So you might find that your foot wants to walk into the middle of your mat. Just bring it a little bit over to the edge. Okay, again, tailbone tucked under. Inhale as I lift my arms. And we're going to go straight into that little bit of extension now that we know what we're doing. Exhale, scoop. We'll go for 5 here. Inhale. Exhale. You don't need to have a lot of equipment or you can take your mat with you pretty much anywhere you go. And even if you don't have a mat, you can use a towel. So there is always a place where we can do some very brief little exercises. We'll go one more and we're going to hold it here. Lift that chest. Really feel like you're lifting now. Gorgeous. Lift. And then reach the arms. Draw that circle around. And let's take both knees down. So I'm going to just pop my ball behind me. And I'm going to make my way down to my mat. Coming into my quadruped with my hands just underneath my shoulders and my knees are underneath my hips. I'll start to make those little hip circles. Again, making sure that I'm closing that space between the ribs and the hips. And then I'm going to change my direction. And then I'll drop down, providing there's no knee issues, I'll drop down towards the ball. I'll drop my elbows down and then I'll glide my breastbone forward. Bring myself back up, scoop my belly. Drop back down with the arms. So again, we're making that kind of circular movement. You might hear some little crackles. Then you can change your direction. So now we're getting into more like a cat stretch. Scooping and rounding, scooping. And we're just warming everything up. Lovely. Gorgeous. Come back to your straight line. Take your ball out. Sweep your legs around to the front. And you might see over here in the corner, I don't know whether you can see, they're supposed to be Napoleon's boots. Okay, gorgeous view out here, right out onto the estuary. So I've got the ball just in between my shoulder blades. I'm going to take my hands behind my head and feel like I'm peeling the back of my scalp up towards the ceiling. I'm going to draw my belly in and just see if I can imprint my spine a little further into the mat, and then take it back to neutral. So now I know I need to be in that neutral. I'm going to keep it in neutral. I'm going to take the right leg up, open the elbows a little bit more, peel the back of the scalp, and here we go. We're going for toe taps. So those of you who were in classes with me last week, this is pretty much the workout that we would have done with a little difference, a little change. Now the whole time I'm lifting and peeling the back of my scalp. So that helps me get a little bit deeper here into these abdominals. Next time I take that knee up, I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to reach the leg forward, push through my heel like I'm pushing against a wall, drop the leg down, hover it here for a moment, active through this left leg. You may not be able to see me very well through this silhouette, but listen to the cues. Now as I do this, I can really feel also the oblique here on this side is working really hard. And then I'm going to take that leg back, bend the knee, take that foot down. When I take my foot down, I'm going to release back over the ball. Feel the sunshine on my face. Absolutely delicious. Opening through the chest again, just like we did a moment ago from kneeling. But really, really, really getting into that lovely smile from collarbone to collarbone. Now, without just lifting my head, I soften my chin, I exhale and lift myself back up to that little position that we were in a moment ago, so that there's no strain on the neck. If there is a strain on the neck, please adjust where your ball is. Take the left leg up to 90 degrees. Let's go for those toe taps. And you got to work those abs. So it's an inhale up, exhale lower. You might like to play around with the breath and exhale up, inhale down. But for me, so that's exhale up, inhale down. Let's try the other way. Oh, that's easier. Lifting a little higher. Using that exhale. Really drawing the belly down now. Really getting deep into that transverse muscle. And let's take that leg up, stretch the leg long, drop the heel down, hover it here for a moment, lift a little higher, and we'll go for 4 of these. 4, 3, active through the standing leg, 2, and 1. Bend the knee down, take that foot down. And I'm going to roll my ball up just a little bit higher and enjoy that stretch again. It's absolutely delicious. And then exhale, come back to center. I'm going to take my right leg up. I'm going to twist across now with my left shoulder towards my right knee. Look at that stunning view. Take that knee and take body back to center and tap my foot down. Reach back over the ball. Exhale as I lift myself back up and twist across with the shoulder more than the elbow towards that knee. Come back to center. Tap and reach over your ball again. Exhale up and twist. Inhale back. And then take that foot down and release back over the ball. We're going to go to the other side now. As I exhale, I lift, I reach across, twisting. Think more of a twist now more than anything. So you don't want to bring that forward elbow in front. You want to keep that wide. And you're almost rolling the ball back just a little bit. And then I'm going to come back, tap, reach over my ball again. Exhale, lift the knee now. Make sure you're in center first. And exhale, twist across, rolling my ball ever so slightly. Back to center, tap, reach over. That's 2. And foot comes down, reach over the ball, Release. Then peel my scalp up again, reach my arms forward, hold on to my thighs, and roll myself all the way up. Oh, that felt really good. I'm going to take the ball between my knees and sit up very tall onto my sits bones. So retracting my shoulders back, squeezing into my ball. If you don't have a ball, use a cushion or a rolled up towel. And I'm just going to exhale, peel my low back down to the point where I can reach my arms long without pulling into my shoulders. I'm squeezing into the ball for 1 and lowering down a little bit more, keeping that C curve. Squeeze in for 2, squeeze in for 3. I'm lowering down a little bit more, squeeze in for 4, squeeze in for 5, and I'm going to roll the whole way to the floor, stretching my legs long, stretching my arms over this couch here, nodding my chin, exhale, reaching up, holding onto my thighs, rolling myself the whole way up, and rounding over that ball. And now taking the ball into my hands. So we're going to combine a couple of exercises together in our roll-ups. Reaching my arms forward, scooping my belly, rolling down. Arms are long, legs are long. As I roll down, I sequentially bring my spine back to the floor, nodding my chin. Exhale, rolling back up again. Scooping my belly and lifting my arms this time and taking my legs out into a soft V. I'm going to inhale, rotate towards my left leg. Exhale, spine stretch forward, down towards that left shin. Scooping and reaching and building from the base of the spine all the way up and come back to center. Inhale as I come over to the left, I scoop the belly out, roll forward. Keeping that, maintaining that scoop through my belly, retracting the shoulders back. Building from the base of the spine, the mid back, the upper back, until I'm still facing that right leg, and then I come back to center. Bringing my arms in front again, bringing the legs back together. Perhaps I'll push through my heels this time, scooping my belly, rolling back down, rolling down. Careful you don't pull your shoulders into your ears. Rolling all the way down, softly bringing the head down. Scooping the belly, rolling back up again, reaching forward. Reaching back up again. Pull the ball in towards the chest. Press it away. Pull it in towards the chest. Press it away. Open those legs back out into that V. Take the ball down in front this time. And feel like you're lifting from the crown of the head as you exhale, roll forward, maintaining that scoop through the belly. And try not to lift your shoulders into your ears. You're going to feel a lovely stretch through the backs of the legs here. Remember you're breathing through the back and sides of your ribs here. And then as I roll the ball in on my exhale, I start to build now slowly from the base of the spine. The mid back, the upper back, and the chest and the crown of the head will lift. Bring my legs together again. This time I'm going to point my toes and scoop my belly and roll back down. See if I can notice the difference between the front line and back line of the body. Toes pointed, it feels quite different. Exhale, rolling back up again. See if you can roll the ball softly down towards the toes. Roll the ball back in again. Lift the ball in front of the chest. Press it away. Retract the shoulders in. Push it away. Bring the ball in. Push it away. Roll down really slowly. We're going to go for 3 roll-ups like this. Last one. Lovely. Okay. Let's come down a little further onto our mat. Pick our backside up and pop the ball in underneath the sacrum. So the ball is in underneath the sacrum and we should feel nice and secure. If it's not feeling secure, wiggle yourself around and find the right place. Take the right leg up. Notice when you take the left leg up. If it doesn't feel too comfortable, I'm going to lift my legs and just pick myself up and plop myself back down. to where it actually feels comfortable. It's in that space, not on your backside, not on your low back, but you should feel totally secure. Legs are reaching up towards the ceiling. Have a little look up, make sure the ankles are meeting. Bend the knees. Now see if you can keep the knees over the hips and not draw them in too close towards you, because you want to start working a little bit more now into these abs. And let's bend the elbows so that we can have a little bit of control by pressing the back of the arms into the floor. And I'm going to stretch my right leg long now. I'm going to draw my knee in ever so slightly and then change. We're going for 8 of these. I'll come back to center. I'll stretch my legs long. And then I'm going to open into a V and close. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Open, close. Come back to center, bend the knees again. Let's go for those toe taps. Let's go alternating legs. Trying to track the knee, the hip, the shoulder. And if you don't have a ball, you can still do all of this. Just be mindful that anything where we reach the legs towards the ceiling or out, particularly if we're going out straight, you want to make sure that you're going a little bit higher towards your ceiling, okay? So in other words, you don't want to have a bigger lever. It puts more strain. So you want to make sure for this position, we have that lovely support of the ball. We're going to come all the way back in. I'm going to take my hands to the front of the ball, reach my legs up towards the ceiling, push my heels together. Inhale, lower my legs. Exhale, come back up again. Now imagine you've got, you're pulling a little string down here behind your belly button. As you squeeze into your heels and you draw that string into the ball. Inhale. Exhale. Use the power. Use this as your fuel. We'll go 2 more. 1 more. And take it back up. Open those legs out, and let's just take the right leg and point it up towards the ceiling. And we're going to stretch the left leg out to 45 degrees and keep this right leg from moving. Point your toes. Keep the right toes in line with the right hip. Draw that left leg back up. Now see if you can do this without moving that right leg. Perhaps you might like to bend your elbows, or perhaps you might like to reach your arms up. Give yourself that extra challenge. The challenge here is really keeping that femur, that big long thigh bone, perfectly still. And we'll take it back up and we're going to change legs. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Now I can see my left leg is moving here. I'm going to try and keep it really still. And that's one of the really good things about using this online platform, is that it's almost like we all have a little mirror that we can sometimes see exactly what we're doing. And I think I have a mirror. Yes, I do. A mirror here behind me also, but you're probably getting another version. It may look like I'm actually doing this with somebody else, but I'm not. It's just me. And then we're going to come all the way back up. Perfect. I'm going to take my hands down and I'm going to start to make circles in different directions. Now, the interesting thing is that when we're in this position on the ball, you may notice one leg is moving slightly differently to the other. So let's just adjust where we are on that ball. And we're going to drop the legs down, squeeze together, and draw those circle back up again. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Actually, let's go exhale, lower. Inhale. Back up and around. Inhale. Back up and around. Inhale. Back up and around. And let's change it, where we're going to inhale round, exhale back up. And let's start to get a little momentum into this. Feeling those inner thighs. Did a bit of cycling over the weekend, so starting to feel a little bit more now where you might have used muscles that weren't used to doing a couple of cycles in a row. That's the really good thing about Pilates, is sometimes we get that really good feedback. Okay, I'm absolutely roasted here, sun shining in. I'm back to center, and I'm going to go back to those single leg stretches, but I'm going to make them a little bit faster. I'm going to bend my elbows, and I'm going to bring my knees in a little closer and start to work a little bit lower. Now here's where, if you are not on a ball, you make sure you're up way higher. Okay, that's pretty much where you're going to be. And then we're going to start to pretty much, it's almost like riding a bike, but we're not doing circles. We're going to lower, and then we're going to make our way back up. But if you have no ball, please keep them at this place. Okay, don't go any lower. Perfect. And then I'm going to come back to center, squeeze my knees together, and I'm going to just drop my heels in towards my backside and then stretch my legs long. Inhale in, exhale, reach. Okay, let's go for a little peel off and a lower down. Peel and lower. Now we don't want to swing the knees over the head, so we want to be mindful that we're not compressing the neck. That's just lifting through the abdominals, okay? And I was going to think a roll over here, but I have a funny feeling I could hit off that mirror or that couch. So let's bend the knees. Take one foot down, take the other foot down. And I'm going to pick up the ball, bring it out, and place it between the knees, checking there's nothing behind my head. I'm going to exhale, roll into imprint, and peel and come up into this bridge. I want you to just shift your weight slightly from side to side, and then bring yourself up into that line where shoulders, hips, and knees are in one long line. Tuck that tailbone under, ribs come down, arms come down. Let's go for little squeezes in for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your bum down, tip it off the mat. Exhale, come up. I'm going to bend my elbows in close to the ribs. So that'll help me get a little bit higher, and also balances me a little bit better, that I'm not just working one side a bit more than the other. Hold it up here, hold it up here. Can you straighten your right leg long? Squeeze it into the ball. 1, squeeze 2, squeeze 3. Take that foot down, pick the hips up a little higher, tuck the tailbone under, ribs are soft. Left leg, stretch it long, squeeze in 1, squeeze in 2, squeeze in 3, squeeze in 4. Take that foot down, pick the hips up, and drop down. Whew, I'm going to take the ball out. I'm going to roll onto my left side. And I'm going to pop the ball to the side of the rib cage on the left. We're going to make sure that my 2 hips are stacked, and if anything, my top hip is slightly rolling forward. Now, we want to make sure we're not here with the shoulder. Lift away from that ball and check that your elbow and your shoulder are stacked nicely. Apologies for the silhouette here. I can't really see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can follow it. Now, we're going to start by taking the top hand and just pressing it into the top hip here, and then stretching the top leg long and bringing it behind just a little bit. Lift the leg and lower the heel to the floor. So we're going for 8 of these. So I want you to feel now that you're not going into your back. So normally we'd have the leg a little bit further forward, but today we're taking that leg slightly behind because we want to feel these glute muscles here. I'm going to hold it up here now. Little pulses up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bend that knee in and press it now towards the front of my mat. I'm going to reach my arm across at the same time, and then I'm going to pull my knee in. Elbow and knee come together. Press away. Now keep lifting from underneath. There's 3. We're going for 8. 4, 5. Start to make it more of a reach now. 6, 7. And we're going to hold it here on number 8. Little pulses up the arm and the leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that knee in. Tap out the lactic acid. Let's pop ourselves over to the other side. So turn around to the opposite side. And I take that ball again, just underneath my rib cage. And don't worry, if you don't have the ball, you can still do this up on your elbow. It just means you have to work a little bit harder. So again, important that the 2 hips are stacked And you don't want this top hip rolling back because that kind of happens naturally. So I want you to tip that top hip slightly forward and take your hand here just to make sure that you are not doing that. I'm going to stretch that leg long, bring it slightly behind, and we're going to lower and lift 8 times. So I'm aiming my heel towards the floor. Now, when you feel you're in the right place, you can then take the arm, if you wish, and bring it out in line with your shoulder. If you prefer to keep this hand at the top hip here, to keep it nice and secure, please do so. I don't know how many that is, it's probably about 8. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my elbow into my knee and just softly reach for the first 1 or 2. Now I'm lifting my side body off that ball, and then as I kind of get into this bit of momentum, I'll start to reach a little further. And then it's a bigger lever to pull in. Play around with your breath here. And I'm going to hold it out here this time. Hold it out here. Little pulses up with the arm and the leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take it in. Drop it down. Bring yourself back around onto quadruped. Wardrobe adjustment if necessary. Pop the ball to the side. And I'm going to just take my left leg, push it back behind me. And notice as I push into the tops of my toes, how that is feeling. And then I'm just going to lift that leg and lower it to the floor. Lift and lower. So I'm making sure that I don't hang out in my low back. Very important. And we're just going to hold it here for a moment. Push back against an imaginary wall. Lift the chest. And then we're going to bring, untuck the toes. We're going to bring the right arm in line with, I'm going to hold on to this curtain that has Napoleon on it also. Hold it there. And then take the knee. Check that the 2 knees haven't come together. And I'm going to push back into the tops of the toes of my right foot and just lift that leg and lower that leg. Now in my case, it feels like I want to lean over into this left side. So I need to drop the right hip down just a little bit. Now use that breath. Hard to talk and breathe at the same time, but you have the option to really get into your breathing here. And then I'm going to push against an imaginary wall. Take the left arm up. Pause here for a moment. Breathe into it. And take that hand and take that knee down. Now let's go. Left leg, right arm, reach, stretch, lift. Take it back down again. Left arm, right leg, reach, stretch. Reach, stretch, lift through your center and come back down again. Opposite arm, opposite leg, lift it, reach it, stretch it. You can even push against a sofa like this and get yourself a little bit higher. Cheating a little bit, but oh, it feels good. And then take that back down. We'll go again. Now this time we're going to take the leg slightly to the right, arm slightly to the left. So depending on which leg you've lifted, whichever arm and leg you've lifted, just take them slightly to the side, but make sure that you're only moving the arm and you're only moving the legs. In other words, you're not taking any other bits and pieces with you. And then come all the way back down. I'm going to turn around for this side, otherwise I'd be hitting off that press. And we're going to take the left leg, right arm, reaching forward. Take the leg, take the arm slightly to the side. I'm kicking off Napoleon's writing bureau here, but sure, so what, I'm very softly touching it. We go for another few here. And then we're going to come back to center, take that knee, take that foot down, come all the way back into our heels. We'll just finish up with a little bit of extension through the back, bringing yourself all the way down onto your mat, coming up onto your elbows and pressing the elbows and the arms into the floor and feeling that lift through the crown of the head and feeling that rectus abdominis stretching a little bit, but heavy on the tailbone. And we'll just take that right leg, bend the knee. So we get a little bit of a thigh stretch here and take that back down again. Left leg lifts and bring it back down. Right leg lifts. I'm kind of pushing my elbows back That lets me lift a little bit higher. And then I'm going to come all the way down onto my mat. I'm going to bring my arms out into a V here. And my legs are going to be slightly turned outwards also. And from here, I'm going to slide my hands in, lift myself up into that lovely extension, and then bend my elbows without lifting into my shoulders, and lower myself back to my mat again. I feel like I'm driving the crown of my head forward and up. I'm just going to pause here for a moment, and as I drop my elbows, I continue to lift through the crown of my head, and then release back to the floor again. Rolling my breastbone through those arms and exhaling up into that extension. Let's go inhale up, exhale down. When I come up this time, I'm going to inhale up to my left, look out of the boats in the estuary. Exhale back to center. Inhale, look towards my screen. Exhale back to center. Bend my elbows and bring myself all the way down. Bring the legs together. Arms squeezing in towards the side body, and push yourself back into a child's pose. Creeping the fingertips over to the right. Dropping now the tailbone down, the sit bones down, making sure that the sit bones down on the left side as you stretch over to the right, sit bones down on the right side. And then creep the fingers to the center of your mat and bring your fingertips over to the opposite side. And then come all the way back to center and bring yourself up into quadruped. Very nice. I'm going to take myself round to seated. Take myself round to seated. Again, I'm completely silhouetted here, so hopefully you can see. I'm going to just lift through the crown of my head, and I'm going to just pause here for a moment. Let's just be really quiet. Let's not make any sound here, just listen to your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I'm going to take my two hands over onto my right knee. Really lift tall through the base of my spine. Drop my right hand to the floor, to the fingertips. Keep my left hand onto my outside of my knee without pulling onto my knee. I'll just kind of use the side of my thigh to help me spine twist, rotate, and look over my right shoulder. You can hear the activity going on below me. And then I'll come back to center and do the same thing on the other side. So my left hand starts to creep back behind. My right hand is on pretty much on the outside of my left knee. Both sit bones are down. And I rotate the trunk, the torso, and I look over my left shoulder. And then I'll come back to center. Bring my arms out to the side. They feel really light now. I'll inhale, inhale, inhale over to the right. I'll spring back a centimeter. Exhale back. And come all the way to center. Inhale, inhale, inhale to the left. And little tiny springs forward and back. So it's almost like you're pulling a spring back and then just releasing it again. And all the way back to center. Left hand reaches with the arm, right arm coming down towards my mat, over into that gorgeous little mermaid. Now check that both sit bones are down, and roll that left shoulder back and try not to crease through your wrist here. Reach all the way up, feel that lift, and take the arms down. Let's go left, arm to the floor, right arm reaching. Don't move across until you've anchored sit bones down. You're going to start to feel that lovely length through your right side. And exhale, reach across. Inhale, come all the way back up. Again, lifting tall. Feeling really, really grateful for the sunshine on my back. Feeling very grateful to be here. I'll take my hands into a prayer position. Reach up overhead. Exhale, open. Really get that feeling of opening and expanding. Draw the two arms back in again. Reaching up towards the ceiling. And exhale, reach, lift. And then take the arms all the way down. And thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy day.